So, hi everyone. I'm Sarah. If you don't know that, my name is Sarah and I'm in Ontario, Canada. I'm just sitting like this because this is my favorite way to sit. If you have a different favorite way to sit, then you should sit that way. Maybe you want to cross your legs or do something different. All options are good options. So, what I have is I have this pillow that I'm sitting on. I have two little couch cushions that I stow over my couch. They're not absolutely needed, but I like them because they make some of the things we're going to do today a little more comfortable. I also have a strap, but you could use like a scarf or a belt or a dog leash. So I'm just going to have this near me. I'm not going to use it yet. And then I also have this extra pillow, but I just like to use it for my head. You don't need that. You could use one of your couch cushions or something else. So yeah, and this is recorded, so you're welcome to have your camera on or off. Just know if your camera's on, there's a chance that you might be in the recording. Mostly it'll just be me, but there could be a chance that you see yourself. And yeah, just know that everything I offer is optional, so I'm going to tell you to do things and you can ignore me and do whatever you want. So this is your practice, it's not mine, and so you need to do what's best for you. So let's just start seated comfortably or as comfortably as we can on the floor. One thing I want to mention about the practice today is that we're not going to get up. So we're going to be on the ground the whole time. So if that is challenging for you, at any point you can stand up, shake things out a little bit. But I thought, because it's later at night and it's gentle yoga, we could just sort of chill, doing stretches on the ground, lying down. And if you have a wall near you, if you have a wall, because then we can do some work on the wall as well. So from wherever you are, whatever position you're in, maybe you want to close your eyes, soften your gaze, and just start breathing. I mean, you were breathing before, but noticing your breath. Noticing the qualities of your breath. Noticing your breath. Your breaths are shallow, short, a bit long, and full. Feel like they're filling up your entire body. Either somewhere in the middle. Notice your heartbeat. No. Do you notice any tension in your body? Did you feel any anxiety or physical sensations related to coming here, starting this practice tonight? How does your body feel in this moment? Is it really energetic, or is it tired, slow? Just noticing how physically in this moment. How's your mind doing right now? Are you focused on a topic, thinking about lots of different things? Have you felt any stress from the day? Are you present in this moment? Lots of other things that you're about. All answers are okay, just noticing what's happening. Maybe you can remember these things, how your mind's doing and how your body's doing at the end of this practice. for how they're doing right now, and if you remember them towards the end of the practice, we'll do a little check-in, see if it's changed. Right, you're gonna take now filling up your entire body, and then exhaling it out side through your mouth, or quickly through your nose. Filling up the entire body with air, and then letting it out. Want to do that again. Know that while I keep breath practices throughout our time together, you don't have to listen to what I'm suggesting. Breathe anyway that works. We also breathe at different rates. So maybe I will breathe faster or slower. They'll breathe faster or slower, and that's okay. You don't have to try and match our breaths. I invite you to notice what you hear. Do you hear anything around you? Are there other people in your space? Other rooms? Or maybe like me, you can hear my air conditioning vent going nonstop. The partner is on a video call in the next room, and I can hear voices. So maybe something knows what's around you. Coming back into the room and open your eyes and look around you in your environment. Noticing if there's a lot of things, not a lot of things. Maybe smell something in space. Just coming back to the environment. You want to start adding some movement still this whole time. Back from side to side or wiggling fingers. Like jangle. Do some shoulder shrugs. Anything here. Crack your neck. Anything that'll do. On your next inhale, I invite you to link your breath in raising your arm up towards the sky. So inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Remembering that you don't have to go at the same speed as me. You want to try 2 arms at a time. Always stick with 1, 2, and then go back to 1. Your choice. A couple more of these. Next time, both your hands are up in the air. Maybe you want to leave them there. And just notice what's happening with your shoulders. Mine tend to go like this up on the ears, so just think about relaxing them down a little bit. Taking a breath here. You can twist slightly to the right and then drop your hands down onto your opposite leg. I tend to have to move my arm underneath my chest to get stuck. And then you can look behind you while your back hand's behind you and look behind you. Or you can look forward, just exploring what feels the best here in this twist. breaths. We're raising our hands back up towards the top. Again, checking in with your shoulders. I'm all hunched again. So relaxing the shoulders. Take a breath. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So twisting the torso and then bringing the arms down. And again, adjusting whatever works for you here. Sometimes it's also nice to bring your hand around your belly instead of your leg, whatever feels the best for you. And again, figuring out what works for your neck. In terms of what position feels the best. Couple more breaths. And then slowly bring your arms back up to the top. And then bringing them down. Shake things out a little bit. From here, we're going to go into some seated cat cows. So I'm just going to turn so you can see my spine a little bit better, but you don't have to turn. So from here, if your legs have been crossed, I recommend crossing them in the other direction so you feel a little balance in the legs. But if they're in a symmetrical position, then that doesn't matter. As you inhale, we're gonna inhale, opening up the chest, arching the spine, chin up towards the sky. And then on your exhale, rounding the spine, bring your chin down towards your chest for cat. So inhaling, coming to cow, opening the chest, chin towards the sky. Our spine is arched. Kind of feels like you're sticking your butt out a little bit. And then cat, it's like your butt comes underneath you. You're rounding your spine and your chin goes towards your chest. Inhaling and exhaling. So again, you're going at the speed, your own breath. Pause if you want. Take a couple breaths in cow. And a couple breaths in cat. Or you can just alternate through them based on your breath. Or you can do them without thinking about your breath at all. Whatever works. Maybe you want to add in some arms. I like to cactus my arms. So coming around, cactusing my arms in cow, and then bringing my arms together in cat. Or maybe you want to have your arms out in cow, and in front in cat. Just whatever works for you, whatever you find the best. Doing a couple more. I'm just getting back on my pillow. Kind of fell off there. Doing a couple more and then shaking it out. Whenever you feel done. From here, let's raise our arms up to the sky one more time. And think about hinging forward at the hips. So think about our hands being the last thing to come down towards the ground for a forward fold. So I heard someone say collarbone come down first. So if that works for you, I don't really feel like my collarbone comes down first, but I just think about hinging here, and my hands are the last thing to come forward. So you can bring your hands wherever you want them. Bring them to your legs, or your calves, or your feet, or you can put them out on the floor if that feels good, but you definitely don't have to bring them out super far in front of you. Just finding what works. Sometimes I think we feel like we need to push ourselves to like the most intense thing we can think of. That's not really needed. Like if we feel sensation in a pose, then that's what matters. Not like what we think we should do or what it would look like in the position. So here you have the option to explore what it feels like to look up. Maybe feeling like your spine's a little bit flat, like on a diagonal from your waist. Or rounding your head towards the ground, and like your head is in the direction of your feet. Maybe you do both and notice the difference in sensation. Maybe you want to come out of it and then come back in. Sometimes it can feel a little intense. In here. We're slowly bringing yourself back up to a seated position. And breath. Let's raise our arms up one more time. Having our palms facing one another. Notice what's going on in your shoulders and your back. How does this feel? What about if you bring your fingertips closer together? You can bring them to touch or just have them facing one another. Does that change what happens in your shoulders? You can link them together if you want to. See how that feels. You can explore what it feels like to tilt them the opposite way, your wrists. This doesn't always feel great on people's wrists, so if it doesn't feel good, don't push through it. And then hands together and noticing what happens in your back when you do this. I find it puts me into like a little bit of a back bend when I have my hands together, like automatically tilt back a little bit. Just breathe. Coming back up straight if you were tilted a little bit, and bring your hands down, shaking them out. From here, this is when you could use your little pillows or blankets if you have some for support. As we come into deer pose. So deer pose, I've also heard it called 99. That's more of like a fitness term. I'm bringing one leg out behind me and one leg in front. So if you're sitting in butterfly, let's say you take your right leg and bring it behind you. And then you have your foot out in front. What I like to do with these pillows is put them underneath my knees. Makes it a whole lot more comfortable for me. If this position just doesn't feel good, sometimes it can cause some pain in the knees. You can stay with your legs in butterfly and use the pillows or blankets to support your knees this way as well. So find a position that works for you and that feels comfortable for you. Just take a minute to get into that position. This might be a position you're not used to being in. Just breathe here. Notice if you're sitting upright, I tend to sort of like slowly get closer and closer to the side. So I have to tell myself to keep remind myself to keep sitting up. You might notice if you're in this deer pose that the leg that's in front, you feel like, for me, it feels like I'm more facing in the direction of the leg that's in front than in straight, and that's okay. So you have, notice where you have your front leg and you have your back leg. I'm gonna start a little warrior sequence from this position. So I'm gonna raise my arms up shoulder height, out towards the side. My left leg's in front, so my left arm is in front of me, and my right foot's in back, so my right hand is behind me. Looking over my front fingertips and breathing here. So this is a variation of warrior two position. A couple breaths. And then flipping your front hand, so your palm's facing the ceiling, or raising it up above your head, and then your other hand sort of comes down to either like a pillow or the ground or whatever's behind you, and just look up at your top hand. So either you're looking up, explore what it feels like to look down at your back foot or out in front of you, and just figure out what feels good here on your neck. Breathe. Slowly bringing your hand back down, other hand up, coming back to that warrior two position. Looking over your front fingertips or like the middle finger of your front hand. Breathing here. And then I'm going to take my front hand and bring the forearm down on top of my thigh, my front thigh, and then raise the other hand above my head. And so from here you can explore if you want your arm out in front, maybe like in front of your face and your ear, or you want it more up towards the sky. You might feel a little bit of a stretch in a different part of your back, depending on where you keep your arm, but you can choose that. Breathing. Then slowly bring your hand down, coming back to that warrior two position, looking over that front arm. Taking another breath or two, or bring your arms down. Ooh, that felt stiff in my arms. I don't know about you, but holding my arms straight like that. From here, if you're in the deer pose, you can bring your other foot back into the front. Keep the pillows here for support. In the middle, let's raise our arms up towards the sky and fold forward. For another forward fold, so we're hinging at those hips, bringing the hands down to wherever feels good, and breathing. Slowly coming back up. And then we got to do the same thing on the opposite side. So whatever leg, I had my left leg back, so now it's in front. Or no, I had my right leg back, so now it's in front. So now I'm bringing my left leg back. So taking a second to come back into that deer pose, or staying in the butterfly if that feels better. Making sure you're supported. And taking a breath here. Check yourself to see if you're slowly falling over. Push yourself back up. Maybe if you're sitting on a pillow like me, make sure you're on it all the way. I was just sort of like falling off of the pillow I was sitting on. And then take a breath. And we're going to come back into that warrior two. This time your opposite hand is in front. So I'm looking over my right hand, right fingertips. Arms are at shoulder height. I'm just breathing here. Maybe you want to flip that front hand, raising it up towards the sky as you drop your back hand and the pillow here. So I'm just resting on the pillow, then looking up my hand, or exploring looking down at my foot. Breathing here. Slowly bring our hands back to that warrior two position, looking over your front fingertips. And then bringing your forearm down to your leg and raising the arm up above your head, looking up towards your hand. Remember, you can play with where your arm is. It can be in front of you, in front of your ear, or it can be more higher up. And I'll just give you a different sensation in your back. Slowly bringing your arm back down and the other one up, back to that warrior two. Bring over those fingertips. Slowly bring your arms back down. Shaking it out. Bring your feet into the middle. You can either leave your cushions or move them out of the way. For one more seated forward fold. This time, if you want, you could explore what it's like to have your legs out to the sides, but also take those pillows that you just had and shove them under your knees. Your legs out. Oh, this feels much better for me, my hamstrings. And from here, raising our arms up towards the sky. And then slowly hinging at the hips. Remember, hands are like the last things to come down. And then bring your hands on your legs or the ground, whatever feels best for you. I notice things are a lot more intense in the back of my legs in this position than they were with my feet in towards the center. Before I was feeling it in my hips, and now I'm definitely feeling it in my hamstrings. So maybe you notice that too, or maybe you feel it in a different area, like side of your legs. Breathing. Slowly coming back up. Ooh. Maybe you want to bring your legs out in front of you. Point and flex. Still keeping a little bend in the knee. We do some ankle circles. My feet cracking, my left ankle always cracks. And I'm going to put these out of the way. I'm going to grab my strap, bring it down with me to my mat. I'm going to bring it, I have like a little pillow, it doesn't really matter what pillow you use, or if you choose to use one for your head for support, I'm going to come lie on my back. So take a second, don't have to rush. Just coming down. I'm in constructive rest, which is when my feet are flat on the mat, my knees are towards the sky. And just resting. The reason I like constructive rest so much is it tends to flatten out the lower part of my spine and gives me like a little massage in my lower back. So once you're down here, just notice how things are feeling. Maybe you want to bring one knee in towards your chest. I find I don't really like bringing it in directly towards my chest. I like bringing it a little bit out to the side. Alternate. Bringing it to the side just leaves room for my belly. You could lift your feet a little bit off the ground, a lot off the ground. Really virtuous here. Maybe you want to do 2 at a time. Maybe you don't. If you do 2 at a time, you could link your feet together and have your knees out really wide like a V. Sometimes I like to link my feet. I don't know, I think it makes it easier to hold them up. Maybe if you're doing this with 1 leg up or 2 legs up, you might want to roll from one side to the other side, giving your lower body a little massage. And then slowly bringing your feet back down, taking a breath, that constructive rest position. So grab your strap or your scarf or your dog leash or whatever you're using, holding it in both hands. I'm going to take my right foot, place it over top my opposite leg in this figure 4 position. And then I'm going to take this strap and wrap it around my foot and raise my foot up towards the sky. Sometimes you have to battle with the strap. It's probably the hardest part is getting it around your foot. And having your foot up, you can have it anywhere that feels good. It doesn't have to be like directly up in front of you. Keeping a little bend in the knee. Don't want it to walk out. From here, just notice where you feel sensation. So, do you feel it in the back line of the leg? Do you feel anything calves or strengths? You can also play with where you put the strap. Run the strap around the ball of your foot, like towards your toes. Maybe you feel a different sensation in that versus the middle of your foot. So just pick the one that you think is better for you. You want to take the straps into your same hand as like it's in the air. So my right leg's in the air. So I'm putting the strap into my right hand, both sides. And I'm slowly going to open my leg a little bit towards the right side. So I'm not like bringing my foot all the way down to the ground. I'm just like slowly bringing it out a little bit, going as far as I can before my other hip, like my left hip or my left butt cheek starts to leave the ground. Just breathe. Slowly bring the foot back up straight. And bringing the strap into the opposite hand. And slowly bring your leg a little bit across the midline of your body. So you're not like trying to go way past the other side, just a little bit. Bring the foot back up straight. Taking the strap back into both hands, breathing here for a while. And then slowly unhooking your foot and bring your foot back down. And just notice what's going on with your legs, how your legs feel. Do they feel any different between one foot and the other foot or the other leg? Thinking maybe about the back lines of your legs and how they feel. Then we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So we're going to take their strap into both of our hands. Take your leg, putting it over your opposite line in like a figure 4. Then hooking the strap around your foot, lifting your foot up into the sky. You definitely don't have to do that figure 4 part. I just find that it's a little bit easier for personally, but if you have another way of getting your foot up that works, go for it. And again, noticing where you feel sensation in the leg. Maybe it's in a different spot when you felt it on your opposite leg. Maybe you want to play with where the strap is, what part of your foot, or some changes. Then you want to take your strap into the same hand of the leg that's in the air. So my left leg is in the air, the strap's now in my left hand. I'm going to slowly bring my leg out towards the side. Just notice how this feels. You're only going as far as you can without you're starting to roll or like your opposite hip or butt coming off the ground. You don't have to go so far. Notice where you feel sensation. I notice I have this like strong urge just to open up my leg all the way. I find it sometimes even more challenging. So just notice what's going on for you. Taking another breath or two. Or slowly bringing your leg back up. Taking the strap into your opposite hand. And then slowly bringing your foot across the midline of your body. Noticing where you feel sensation. Some people don't feel anything when you do this. Bringing your foot across. Some people feel intense amount of sensation. The side of their leg, or their IT bands. Some people don't feel anything. So we're all different. I definitely feel something going on inside my calf. Then bringing the strap back into both of your hands. Legs straight up, still a bend at the knee. Breathing. Then slowly unhooking your foot, bringing the strap down to the ground beside you. Maybe you want to extend your legs out in front of you. Don't. I never really like to, but explore that sensation. Just notice what's going on in the legs. And you might just slowly roll to one side. Just resting here for a second. Breathing here. And then coming back onto coming onto our bellies. So rolling onto your belly, wiggling your way there if you need to. Maybe moving things around so you can feel comfortable. I'm resting with my elbows underneath my shoulders and my hands out in front of me. And I'm just sort of breathing here. This is Sphinx pose. It puts you into like a little bit of a back bend. So the thing to remember about Sphinx pose is your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. And that creates a little bit of a back bend, but not too big. So let's take a breath here. You think about lifting up your feet and then like planting them down into the ground. From here, maybe you want to push off your hands. So you're up a little bit higher. So before our elbows were down on the mat, now we're pushing into our hands, our elbows are in the air, looking forward, breathing here. Slowly coming back down, bringing our elbows back down to the mat. So maybe you like those positions. You want to stay here. Or maybe you want to explore bringing your hands underneath your shoulders this time. So elbows are like back by our sides. And slowly engage our upper back, lifting our chest off the ground, looking out in front of you. So here, want to make sure you're not just sort of like pushing yourself up. You're really engaging your back muscles, bringing your shoulder blades together, and that's helping you lift up your chest. And breathe. Slowly lowering back down towards the ground, bringing our hands out in front, elbows underneath our shoulders, back to that Sphinx pose. The other thing you could do, if you have a pillow around you, you could bring a pillow underneath your chest for support. That puts you in this back bend position, but it takes some of the pressure off your wrists. So maybe you want to go through those again, maybe you don't, maybe you just want to stay here in Sphinx, and that's good too. Want to, you can push into your hands, coming up to seal. So a little more intense back bend, your hands are out in front of you, your arms are somewhat straight, not locked out though. Just breathing here. Coming back down to your elbows slowly. So again, maybe you want to do those one more time, or you can bring your hands underneath your elbows or underneath your shoulders, elbows out behind you, engaging those back muscles to lift your chest, not just putting all the pressure in your hands and looking forward. Here you can also think about engaging your pelvis and your thigh muscles and pushing them, your quads into the back. And breathing here. Slowly lowering yourself back down into Sphinx. Maybe you want to bring your hands out in front of you. You can lower your head to the mat. I can't do that because I have this pillow here. So if you don't do that, you have a full body stretch. And then slowly coming back up to a seated position. So maybe push yourself up through tabletop, or you roll your way up, whatever works for you. This time, we're going to come with a little bit of time left, so let's come towards a wall. So here's like a wall. And you have two choices. Well, really, you have three choices. We're going to bring our legs off the wall. So if you have a pillow, you could use a pillow. You don't have to, but you could. And you could sit on the pillow. I'm going to move these so they're out of the way. You can sit on the pillow. You can't really see my pillow, but there is one here. With your legs out, and then bring your legs up the wall. You can also put a blanket here for your hips, if that's comfortable. I personally don't really like either. So it's your choice. I tend to do it without any support under the hips. But you can try it sitting on a pillow or a blanket. I find for me, it just gets kind of congested. And then I'm always like wiggling with it. So whatever you want is underneath you. I personally like to have a pillow for my head. So I'm sitting really close to the wall, legs out, and I'm slowly gonna bring my torso down to the ground, my feet up to the wall at the same time. So you can be, your hips can be really close to the wall, or they can be further away, whatever feels better for you. Maybe you need to wiggle around to figure out what feels the best. This could also be done on a door, or if you don't have a wall, you could put your legs up onto a couch or onto a chair and have the backs of your legs supported like that. So once you're in this position, let's just breathe here for a bit. What's going on with your spine? How does your spine feel in this position? Does it feel supported by the ground or the mat or the prop if you're on top of a pillow or something? Just noticing how that feels in your body. Have your legs up like this. Do you feel sensation in your legs anywhere? Sort of like pulsing or tingling or something. There's lots of blood flow going on in there. Just take a couple of breaths. Maybe you want to explore what it feels like to open up your legs a little bit wider on the wall in like a V shape. Maybe that feels really good for you and you want to go really wide, or maybe you don't. For me, I find it's not really, I can open them up really wide, but it's not really sustainable for me to stay here. It feels like really intense in my abductors, like the muscles in my leg. So I tend to just keep a little more narrow. Oh, and breathing here, legs up the wall, always nice and straight. Maybe you want to explore what it's like to bring your feet together, like a butterfly, get on the ground. Maybe that feels good for you. Maybe it doesn't, and you want to go back to this. Or straight. Whatever you like here. Maybe you want to bring one foot in and the other one out, so it's a one-sided V. I think this might be called dragonfly. I might have just made that up. Taking a couple breaths. If your one leg's out, bring it back into the center, and then take the other leg out. Noticing how this feels. Ooh, I feel a lot going on inside my leg today. Breathing. Maybe raising your legs back up towards the sky again. This time, maybe you want to take your right foot, bring it over top of your opposite leg. I need to hold it with my hand because otherwise my leg flies away. But I'm coming into this four shape, like we did on the ground when we put the strap over our legs. And then I'm going to slowly bend the straight leg a little bit. And I'm just bending it as much as I need to before I feel sensation in my legs. And then just breathing here. So you could have your leg bent a lot or just a little bit. I don't have mine bent that much just because it feels really tight for me today. Maybe you want to have your arms out to the side or on your belly or holding onto your leg. I mentioned it, but sometimes when I don't hold onto my leg just like flies off. So sometimes it's better just to hold it. Noticing where you feel sensation. Taking another couple breaths. This can be quite intense sometimes, so you can always come in and out of it. Never need to hold positions for a long period of time if they don't feel good for you. And then slowly bring your leg back up so your feet are straight on the wall. Breathing. And then taking the opposite foot and doing the same thing. So bringing the opposite foot over the opposite leg. And then slowly bending that top leg. Noticing where you feel sensation in the body. Is it different on this side than it was on the opposite side? Sometimes I like to imagine that I'm like sending my breath to the area that feels a lot of sensation. Like I'm imagining the breath goes like straight through, like there's no organs in its way, no bones, it just goes straight to where it feels sensation. It's not exactly how the respiratory system works, but it's a visualization that helps me sometimes. Taking another couple breaths, and then slowly letting your foot go and bring your legs back straight again. Breathing here. Do any movements here that you want, anything that you want while your feet are still on the wall. Maybe you want to bring one foot out off the wall and point and flex your foot. You do that, make sure you do it on both sides. Oh, that's my ankle cracking again. Oh, maybe you want to turn your feet out towards the outside of your body and then back in. Just noticing different sensations when you move your feet around. We're going to slowly make our way out of this position. So slowly bring your legs down the wall, back into that side, lying on your side position. And then slowly bring yourself back to a seated position. Oh. Maybe you need to move around a little bit or wiggle to readjust, sitting up straight. From here, take any movements that feel good in the back, neck, maybe some neck rolls. Maybe some torso rolls. Going in one direction and then the opposite direction. Just doing any last movements that you want to do here before we come to rest. So we're going to come into our final resting position. So this can be any position that you want. So you can lie on your back in a traditional Svanasana. That's corpse pose where you rest on your back. You don't have to. You can also lie on your side. You could stay sitting up straight, supported maybe up against a wall. You could lie on your belly. You could lie on a couch if you're near one. Whatever's comfortable for you. You're gonna lie on your back, maybe bringing a pillow underneath your knees. So figure out what's the most comfortable position for you right now. And find it. If you're sitting up, maybe you want a blanket around you, a little cape, or using it as a, rolling it up and using it like an airplane pillow around your neck. Wherever you are, let's just take some time to rest. To rest our bodies, to rest our minds. We did a little check-in at the practice, talking about how our minds are doing. Our minds were thinking about lots of things, stressing about things that need to get done. So doing that little check-in now, just noticing what's going on in your mind right now, how that compares to what was going on in practice. Did anything change? What about your body? Has anything with the body changed since you started this practice? I feel like a lot of things have changed for me. Do they have for you too? What's going on with your physical energy level? Physically feel ready to move and run, or sleep, relax. Different time zones here, so we might be a little different depending on where we are. So just noticing how you noticing the air as it comes into your body. Wherever you're seated, and you notice any difference when you're inhale or exhale. Up against this wall. As I inhale, my back expands, making pressure with the wall. You're lying down, you notice contact or pressure as you inhale with the surface that you're supported on. And as you exhale, just notice your body's melting. But I think for your eyebrows for a second. How do your eyebrows feel? Do they feel heavy? Notice how your eyebrows feel? Do they feel light? Feel tight, scrunched? Feel relaxed. Muscles in your hands open or clenched or bent. Just noticing the other muscles in the body. Is there anywhere where you're holding tension? Is there muscles are tight? Trying to send air to those areas. Imagine, like I said when we're at the wall, imagine sending your breath through your body directly to any site. Focusing how your body reacts as you exhale. You get more relaxed, your muscles soften. We're going to take some time for silent practice for a couple of minutes. I'll be here to keep time. So while you're in this practice, if thoughts come into your mind, know that that's totally normal. Just acknowledge what you're thinking about and let them pass. And always focus on your breath if that works for you. Just taking a couple minutes to relax yourself. Let's start coming back into the body, noticing the sounds around you. Maybe there's a smell in your space. Maybe you want to bring movement back into the body. The circles or circles. Fingers, toes. If you're reclined, maybe you want to have your feet out and your arms out for a full body stretch. Maybe you want to have them outside, or you want to yawn like me. Any movements here that feel good. If you're reclined, maybe you want to roll to one side. You're welcome to stay in the position that you're in after this class and this meeting ends. Or you could slowly roll up to a seated position. Don't hurry, you're not in a rush, you don't have to hurry. Go your own speed. From wherever you are, whatever position you're in, maybe you want to bring your hands to your heart or to anywhere on the body that feels good. And I just want to send some gratitude to everyone who's here, everyone who practiced with me today so much. I want you to send some gratitude to yourself. Thank you. Thank yourself for taking the time to do this practice, take this little bit of self-care. And I want to thank